Hi, I'm Micah Woods. I find it really useful to look at the cumulative clipping volume through the growing season, and I think you will too. In this video, I'll show what that looks like and suggest a few things you can do with this cumulative value. Measuring clipping volume, or clip vol as I like to call it, is becoming more and more common on golf courses and sports fields around the world. The concept is simple. The volume of clippings is easy to measure. The volume of clippings is related to the growth rate of the grass, and knowing the growth rate of the grass allows turfgrass managers to make better adjustments than they would be able to make if they remained ignorant of the growth rate. I first got interested in clip vol in 2013 when I realized that the quantity of clippings cut from the greens each morning was related to the green speed. More clippings and the green speed was slower. As clippings dropped, the green speed increased. Once I grasped this rather obvious connection, I started recommending clip vol collection for the purpose of managing surface conditions. For example, if you know that you will have a member guest invitational tournament on July 25th, and if you know that your greens produce the type of surface you want for the member guest when you get 6 milliliters of clippings per square meter from a double cut at 3 millimeters, then you can adjust the fertilizer, irrigation, growth regulators, and mowing in advance of this invitational tournament to get the growth rate just right. When July 25th comes, the green speed and surface conditions will be predictably as you want them to be. As I continued looking at clip vol data and saw just how easy it was to make the measurement, some other uses of the data became apparent. The volume of the clippings is related to the actual clipping yield. When I say clipping yield, I refer to how much the grass grows, and that is reported as dry weight of clippings per area. The clip vol has a linear relationship with clipping yield. The amount the grass grows can therefore be estimated from clip vol. Two of the obvious things that can be adjusted based on growth are nutrient requirement and sand top dressing requirement. If I were looking at the relationship between clip vol and green speed, then the daily clip vol is a number I'd be concerned about. But for sand top dressing requirement or nutrient requirement, I'm not so concerned about the clip vol amount harvested this morning or on July 25th for the invitational tournament. A more meaningful value is the total quantity of clip vol harvested year to date. I've seen a lot of clip vol spreadsheets. It's so easy to get this measurement, and once these numbers go into a spreadsheet, they can fill a lot of cells. I see a lot of people calculate a daily average or a running average of clip vol. I do that too. In addition to the daily average and the running average, I suggest calculating the cumulative sum of clip vol year to date. Then at the end of the year, or at the end of the growing season, you'll also have the total quantity of clippings harvested. Let me show you how I've been looking at this, and then I'll discuss in a little more detail the types of decisions that can be influenced by this cumulative sum of clip vol. This is the 9th green at Hazeltine National Golf Club in Chaska, Minnesota. The grass is Pen A4 creeping bentgrass, and the clip vol gets measured every time this green is mown. In 2023, the first mow was on April 25th, and the clip vol on the 9th green on the first mow of the year was 110 milliliters per square meter. The second mow of the year was on April 29th, and the clip vol on that 9th green was 54 milliliters per square meter for the second mow. The cumulative total after April 29th for the 9th green was thus 164 milliliters per square meter. Each time the green is mown, one can add the new clip vol to the previous cumulative sum and thus progress through the year. On June 17th, the cumulative total for the 9th green went over 600 milliliters per square meter. On the last mow of the year, which happened on October 10th, the green reached its annual total clip vol amount of 1,129 milliliters per square meter, or more simply, 1.1 liters of clippings per square meter. For any individual green or sports field, I'm not terribly concerned with this cumulative sum line through the year. I do like to know, eventually, the total sum of clip vol for the year. the annual clipping yield. I think that's a really useful number to know. What is interesting about the cumulative sum through the year for a specific green or a specific sports field is the comparison to other areas or the comparison to previous years. Let's stay with the 9th green at Hazeltine and look at an example. One way to look at this is comparing to the average of all the other greens. On this chart, the black line is the 9th green, and the line with a green color shows the average through the 2023 season of all the other greens at Hazeltine. By the end of the year, we can see that the 9th green has a slightly lower clipping yield than did the other greens. We can also look at how the growth in 2023 compared to the 2022 season, to the previous year. In 2023, the greens started off the year with a bit more clip fall than they did in 2022, but by the end of the year, the 2023 clip fall was appreciably lower than it was in 2022. 1.5 liters of cumulative clip fall in 2022, 1.1 liters in 2023. The annual clip fall in 2023 was about 75% of what it was in 2022, a 25% reduction from the previous year. I mentioned previously that sand top dressing requirement and nutrient requirement will be related to and can sensibly be adjusted based on these cumulative annual clipping yield values. Does it make sense that a grass that grew 25% more would have used 25% more potassium? Would have produced 25% more biomass, thus requiring 25% more sand top dressing to keep total organic material at the top of the root zone at a consistent level? I'll let you answer those questions. We could also look at all the greens as a dashboard. From that, it's possible to identify greens that grew more than the average. Take the 6th green or the 14th green, for example. Or to find the greens that had lower than average clip fall, numbers 8 and 18, for example. Then the question arises, if the grass is growing at different rates on different greens, would the playing surfaces be improved? Could the playing surfaces be improved by adjusting the work slightly on a green by green basis because we know how each green is actually growing? It's not just at the end of the season when you can use this. When you have the clip fall data, you can check this in real time. Through May 4th in 2024, the clip fall from the Hazeltine greens is at 79% of the 23 amount at that same time. If you are trying to grow the grass at a similar rate as the previous year, knowing how much they actually are growing is a useful number. One can predict what the annual total may be based on the amount collected so far and knowing how the growth progressed the previous year. The daily clip fall numbers, the daily averages, and a running average of the daily clip fall are a great measure of how much the grass is growing right now. These same data, and anyone who is collecting clip fall has them, can be used for the cumulative sum and the annual totals as well. If you can use both these numbers, the daily and the annual, I think the time investment into collecting clippings will produce even greater returns. There is a lot more information about these topics at both my paceturf.org and asianturfgrass.com websites. I'd also like to remind you to sign up for the free ATC email newsletter so you can get updates about new developments in this type of turfgrass management. Thank you.